let's start. This is Toolbox App from Hackathon to production. And my name is Victor Kropp. I'm team lead of the Toolbox App team at JetBrains. You can find me at Kropp on Twitter, for example, if you want to. And I've been at JetBrains for 15 years already. I'm by no means a record holder. There are people at JetBrains who have been working here many more years than I. But during these years, I've participated in many different projects, including, for example, ReSharper, where I implemented a structural search feature. This is a screenshot from IntelliJ, apparently, not from ReSharper. It's structural refactors, for example, using this. I've also had a chance to bring unit test runner to dotCover, worked at UTrack a little bit and wrote a backend for the dashboard feature. I also worked at Space when it wasn't even called Space and prototyped some features there. But then I found my home at Toolbox App. And yeah, you see, I've participated in many different projects, and this is not a unique story at JetBrains. Many people are switching projects after working there for several years, bringing their expertise to other teams. And it also is also a way to keep yourself motivated. So every time I switched the project, I found a new motivation to go further, to develop new features and to learn something new in the new world, a new environment, in new programming language. So what is Toolbox App? It is a small utility app that sits on your computer and helps you install and update JetBrains tools. Let's do a quick check. Does anyone use Toolbox App? Wow, cool. I see many hands, but some don't. And yeah, I will tell you a story how we developed this app. And it all started at the hackathon. Mikhail has already explained a little bit about hackathon. Let's cover it in more details. So hackathon at JetBrains is an internal event that happens every year. It lasts for 48 hours, so 2 full days. Usually it's from Wednesday to Friday, so that you can relax and recharge on the weekend. You have 5 minutes for presentation of your project. At the beginning, it were live presentations right after the end of the hackathon. Everybody was tired, so now we are doing YouTube videos for that. And you are required to submit everything before the deadline, so that everything should be fit in these 48 hours. We can go from a team from 1 person to 20. Like I've participated once in this hackathon in a team of 20. A lot of communication issues. 1 person is not the best choice as well, because you cannot do a lot in just 48 hours. And there is a cup for the winner. It is heavy, and yeah, this is the first time I'm holding it, because we actually never won the hackathon. I'll tell you about it later. And this cup is awarded to the winner project of the hackathon, and the winner is decided by the common vote of all JetBrainers, no matter whether they participated in hackathon or not. And actually, all JetBrainers can take a part in this hackathon independently of their position. Developers, QAs, support, office managers, whoever wants, they got their chance and vote as well. The hackathons are very much anticipated events at JetBrains. So we always, or not we, our great design team prepare these great visuals for every hackathon. And this one is very special because it was a home edition, 2020. Everyone remembers those times that we were accidentally locked in our houses. And yeah, that was a great time to connect to colleagues and to do something together with a lot of remote folks all over the world. What kind of projects do we do at the hackathon? Actually, there is no topic. So you can do whatever you want. And I roughly can designate all projects into 3 categories. So first are internal projects. There is something that improve life of JetBrainers, like this thank you project that was created to be able to quickly send some thank you message to anyone or any team, and all these messages were and are displayed on the big screens you've seen in the office. So it's a great way to show your appreciation of the colleagues' work. Then there are projects I call do something crazy. Like this one, it's a musical instrument which weighed like 150 kilos, tubular bells built from gas pipes, and everything was coordinated by an Arduino. It was really working. And yeah, why I'm talking about some crazy projects, because a few years later, the same team created a jet rocket. It really flew like few meters up in the skies and then fall down, but that's what you expect from a rocket. And another type of projects are like doing some experimental features or some new products like Toolbox app. And this is one that I like the most. It is sound debugger. So the debugger that instead of stopping at the breakpoint, played a sound at that when your code execution hit that breakpoint, and then by listening to your program, you can judge how well it behaves. For example, for high-load applications, you will notice some different pitch if something goes wrong, for example. Fortunately, it never got to production. Maybe sometime later. Yes, please. The question was, do we do all these projects in a single hackathon or in different hackathons? We do it all together in one hackathon. There are really no limits. The only limit is your imagination. So what about Toolbox app? Yeah, we had an idea, and not IntelliJ idea, just idea. And the idea was to eliminate the routine. So the regular life of a developer at JetBrains is to wake up, open their laptop, and download a new build of IntelliJ IDEA, for example. And we wanted to automate this process. And that's how the idea was born. We've assembled a team of 6. I'm the one with the bike, because this slide was designed by my son, and this is how he sees me every morning and every evening. And the team was very good, like assembled from the different areas of responsibility. So we had a UX designer. Every time you go to any hackathon, you should have a designer on your team, because they will also help you to make a great presentation that will amaze everyone. Then we had a UI developer who developed the nice looking UI in just 48 hours. We had developers supporting different operating systems, so Windows, macOS, and Linux. I was supporting Linux at that time, because yeah, first they didn't want to have a Linux version at all, and I jumped to the last bandwagon to join this project at the hackathon, saying, guys, maybe yeah, in all over the world there are just 1% of Linux desktops, but among the software developers, the Linux share is much higher than 1%. So we estimated like tens percent of percents or so. And we had a developer working on integration with IntelliJ too, so we can provide the best possible features for IntelliJ. And this is how JetBrains desktop applications launcher was born, because we didn't invent the name at that time. And we, as I said, we didn't win the hackathon. Instead, we got a special prize, this certificate for CEO's choice. There is a typo there. I haven't seen it before, since like we have this certificate since 2015, and I never noticed. And the project name is so great that it didn't even fit in this certificate. So this is how our hackathon project looked like. And if you are using, or at least have seen Toolbox before, you probably recognize it, because like the basics were invented right at that time. So this is our winning. This is a screenshot of our winning application. The only issue here is it is fake. Any ideas why? The application was working, so everything worked, and it looked more or less like this. Like some details in this screenshot. Please? You are right. So we've created, we had this hackathon in the summer of 2015, and in December 2015, we've announced that we are rebranding JetBrains and all our products. But of course, inside JetBrains, we knew it much earlier. In summer, for sure. And during the hackathon, we've used new logos, new JetBrains logo, because, well, it looked much cooler than the old ones. And yeah, that's the answer. And actually, if you look at the menu bar, you've noticed a black square there. It is a little bit blurred. That was a hint, a small hint. We could not fake it completely, so we left it as is, and nobody noticed. The oldest screenshot I was able to find, the real screenshot, is like this. And again, it is very much similar to what we have today. Uh, So the question is whether one can filter tools based on the language, right? Yeah. Back at that time, it wasn't possible, but right now in the latest version of the toolbox, it is of course possible. There is a search field over the top, or you can just start typing it like in any of our products, and it will filter the right choice for you. Yes, please. It was a code name for data grip. 0x, and I don't know, DB is database, but the rest I don't know. What does it mean? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, the question was where the idea originates from, who was the inventor, and actually there were two persons, both suggested this idea for the hackathon, and both were developers from very different projects. One like from IntelliJ, one from web front end developer, and it wasn't my idea. And yeah, they suggested this idea both for the hackathon. We have an internal wiki page where you can suggest your ideas, and then they found out that their suggestions are very much the same, so they decided to uh, join together and hire the rest of the team, including me. Yes, please. Oh, yeah. So, without repeating the question, I will reiterate. Yeah, so we have 48 hours to implement the idea, but we assembled the team before. We had an idea before the hackathon. It is not quite allowed to have some well prepared mock-ups before, just some rough ideas. It is allowed, for example, to prepare a repository, a Git repository, but without actual code there. So just maybe, like, for example, if you're starting a Kotlin project, you may put Gradle there so that you don't spend hours setting up Gradle before you can start, but you cannot push any actual code before. So, yeah. Uh, yeah, the wiki page is accessible for everyone at JetBrains. Everyone can suggest their ideas. Uh, Usually the person who suggested the idea then leads the team to implement this idea, but it can be like someone can suggest many ideas and then like give away them to other teams if they like. Many ideas don't even get to the hackathon, so they are abandoned or discarded before the hackathon. Yeah. Yes, please. Great. Mhm. Well, it's a great question. How does it looks from the company perspective? And from the company perspective, the chance for developers to switch to something new, to try something new, something that they always wanted but never got a chance. It actually leads to a productivity boost also in their main responsibility, in their main job. And also, this is a great chance to have some new features, new products in production, and we'll cover this a little bit later. Sure, they do. Sure, they are tired. That's why we have weekend after that. Uh, well, you can stay over time during these 48 hours. So many work through the night, but I personally not. But yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So the question, what the benefit of the Toolbox app if you have, for example, only one IntelliJ and only use it, but the main issue is to restart the application to continue working. At least it takes away all the routine. You don't need to remember when to update. It can do it for you. And also lists all the projects you have. And we have some more exciting integrations in mind, but well, let's talk about it later. So maybe we can continue the afterwards. I will be here till the very end. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The last question for now, and we'll continue. Yes, please.
Let's try to use the mic for the streaming so that's.
So there was a slide where you show like there was a musical instrument. So I was asking, like, is there a possibility to have some idea put to production that is not related to JetBrains?
Yes.
Or like
absolutely.
a rocket or some.
Absolutely.
Okay. But had it been before, like any idea?
Many times, many different ideas. So let's continue. So how do the project? What do we do with projects after the hackathon? Some of them are finished ideas, finished projects, and they will be just used over time. Or if the project is bigger than any team can fit into 48 hours, we have a great opportunity to continue working on a project in the scope of this 20% projects offering. So like every JetBrainer can spend like roughly 1 day a week working on some side project. This has to be related to something JetBrains does. Like, for example, maybe some improvements to debugger or continued development of the Toolbox app. But there were other examples like a UTrack mobile application. Again, it was started as a hackathon project. It was continued like a 20% project, and now there is a developer who works on it like full time to support the mobile version of UTrack on Android and iOS. Or this internal hiring tool. It was revamped recently, but it was still a continuation of the hackathon project that got to be an internal project after that. And it helped a lot of people inside JetBrains to switch their projects, as I already uncovered on my own case. Or if you take a guided tour through our office, you probably notice these tablets. They are showing the schedule of meeting rooms where you can easily book a room for the meeting. This was, again, a hackathon project from the very first hackathon 10 years ago. And it was continued as a 20% project, and it is used by like virtually every JetBrainer every day if they're in the office. And we continue developing the Toolbox app as well. So remember, the hackathon was in summer 2015. In May 2016, roughly 8-9 months later, we announced it publicly. Then in September, we had a beta. In October, we got 1.0 release. And it was already a huge success for us because we were still working on the application as a 20% project. So there wasn't a full-time team of developers working on the Toolbox app. And we've had like 100,000 of users in 2017, 200,000 of users, 300,000 of users roughly in 2018. and we still were spending like 1 day a week supporting this application, and it worked well because like for me personally, well, of course, I need to admit it was not 1 day a week. I spent actually a little bit more, and that's when at that time I decided that I need to solve this issue. I cannot spend full work week in one project and another full work week in another project. So I decided to switch completely to Toolbox app, and only at that time we started to hire a team specifically for the Toolbox app. But you may be then asking, want to ask, how did we do that? Is it possible to maintain and develop new features in the application working just part-time on it? And how do we do QA testing of the application? We didn't have a QA at the team, as I've said. We only had developers. Well, the answer to it is dogfooding. Maybe something like this. Well, actually, I'm a certified cat person, so for me, it's more like cat fooding. So I needed to Google, and dog fooding is the practice of using one's own products or services, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, I'm trying to look smart here. Well, jokes aside, dog fooding is a very important practice for JetBrains, and there is another talk about dog fooding right now in the main room. It is so important to us that it is listed at the JetBrains.com, and there is a video about it with Max Shafir, the CEO of JetBrains. Oh, by the way, it was at the old Munich office over there. So you can check it out if you want. We love to use our own projects. I need to admit, we are lucky to be able to use our own projects on the daily basis. Because, yeah, probably, I don't know, if you develop some medical software, it's unlikely you can try it every day. But for us, it is a great opportunity to test everything right from the master branch every day. And we are always excited about new features in our products. We share feedback with people from different teams. And for example, for Toolbox app, it means that we have this switcher inside the app. It's invisible for the external users, where we can use the development version of the app every day. And well, I personally even use, well, of course I have it installed, but I built it from source code and use the locally built version. The same many people in IntelliJ department are doing. They don't install the IntelliJ IDEA to work on IntelliJ IDEA. They build IntelliJ IDEA from sources to work on IntelliJ. And then they build another IntelliJ IDEA from sources to debug the IntelliJ IDEA they are working on. And we are not only using our own products. So of course, our Toolbox app team use a debug version of Toolbox app, but we also use a different product. So we often use nightly versions of IntelliJ, test new features and integrations, and other people at JetBrains using new versions of Toolbox app. So for example, here's a recent tweet from Anton Arkhipov, developer advocate for Kotlin. He updated to Toolbox 2.0. We've just announced the beta version on Tuesday, and yeah, it was even earlier when he tried some internal build of this tool, and yeah, like people on Twitter were asking how. Yeah, and the answer was he does it for you so that you are using the stable build with all the bugs ironed out. And by the way, Anton yesterday visited the beer garden here at Hirschgarten, so he is very well prepared to give you an IntelliJ idea tips and tricks right after this talk in this room. Anton is over there; he's prepared and ready. Yeah. And even after we finished being a kind of startup product, graduating from hackathon through 20% project program and being a real team with a real product, with real roadmap and so on, we never stopped experimenting. So for example, the very first version of the Toolbox app was written in C++. And on one hand, it is a great language used by many. On the other hand, it is known to be very complex. It is easy to make a mistake there and just crash the application. It was hard to hire developers working to work on C++. So at some point in time, we love Kotlin as a language developed by JetBrains, using the same principles almost as we do every other web product. So we decided to rewrite the Toolbox app from C++ to Kotlin. And here's a little technical part. I will teach you how to convert your C++ to Kotlin. So first of all, you take your header files. So in C++, if you don't know, there are two files for each class. You have a header file where you only put your definitions of the methods, like kind of like you do interfaces in Kotlin or Java, and the implementation go to the CPP file. So we converted header files to Kotlin with regular expressions. If anybody would say you that you don't need regular expressions, you should learn them because it's a great tool actually. Then we've put a to-do as implementation of every method. So it started to compile. It, of course, never worked at that state because to-do function just throws an exception in Kotlin and does nothing. We've used type-ls to bind new dependencies to old class names because, yeah, you don't have the same, I don't know, dependency for handling JSONs in C++ and Kotlin. Then we copy-pasted C++ implementations to the same Kotlin files, and apparently IntelliJ IDEA mistakenly thought that we are copy-pasting Java code to it and suggested to convert it to Kotlin. It worked surprisingly, it worked pretty well. Of course, it left some red parts in the code, which were not compiling, but yeah, not to blame the idea. We didn't paste the real Java there. And then we use search and replace to fix all of that, fix all the remaining issues. So very, very basic tools you find everywhere. They are very helpful if you apply them in the right way. And I look at it, and probably today I would just ask AI assistant to do it for me. Well, we also experiment with Compose. Compose for any Android developers here? Not many, but you should know Jetpack Compose from Google. It's an framework, new UI framework from Google for Android to develop UI. And some years ago, it was ported to the desktop by the team at JetBrains. And we started to using it immediately, providing a lot of feedback to the team and help them to reach 1.0 release. And then the project evolved to Compose multi-platform. They are now supporting iOS, so you can write the code once and really have a nice looking UIs on Android, desktop, macOS, Linux, Windows, on any operating system, on iOS, and even on the web using Kotlin WebAssembly target. In Team Tools area on the 5th floor, there is Sebastian Eigner, who can demo you this exciting technology. And we are using it in Toolbox of course, it's desktop variant. We don't really need an iOS for us. And we do these all conversions. So, for example, we converted the business logic from C++ to Kotlin over these years. We have converted the UI from the embedded browser, which was using a lot of resources, to the Compose, and almost nobody noticed. So these are screenshots from pretty much the same period of time. And we were able to re-implement everything looking very, very similar to what it was before. And by doing that, we also provided a lot of feedback to the team, as I said, and it was another example of internal dogfooding. So you see, I personally see, and many think the same, that dogfooding is a cornerstone of the JetBrains success. So we are able to use our tools and give feedback to developers to improve these tools, frameworks, language, products to be better, and so that users will get the best possible experience. Yeah.
So when you converted from C++ to Kotlin, were there any significant performance hit? And the second question would be like, if you had to do it today, would you have tried what they call in-place replacement for C++, something like Rust or something?
Okay. Very interesting questions. So first, about performance, Toolbox app is not very performance-intensive application, so we didn't see any changes in performance at all. So we don't do anything resource heavy. And the second one, whether we would try something different for instead of C++, like Rust, maybe Golang. No, I would say if I would start the application today, start the project today, I would choose Kotlin from the very beginning, because we like Kotlin, we love it, and now it's not only available everywhere, and we can write nice code, very readable, with the coroutines and many modern libraries and UI frameworks like Compose. So I'm very much convinced that right now we have the right choice of the technologies for the app. Yes, please.
I have one more cool question. It's pretty clear that, yeah, you had CEO's choice, and then you decided to continue with this project as 20% internally. But who and how made a decision to make this project as a full-time application, which you will then present to your customers? Like, how this step was made?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember, but for sure it was a decision of the CEO. And finally, it was a decision of the CEO of whether we do it at the public project or not. Okay, but in order to do this, we should have a team. We should have a team that was passionate for the idea, that was ready to develop the application. So it's not like we've done it, we forgot about the application, and then the CEO came and said, you and you and you will be working on Toolbox and bring it from the hackathon to production. No, it was like the other way around. We were so excited. We wanted so much to finish the project, to bring it to the release, so that we asked the permission and we've got it, like just like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys doing dog fooding, but who will do the death plans? Who will do execution? Who will do security reviews? If you do dog fooding for 3 years, is this the quality criteria that you have?
No, absolutely not. So we have QAs. Yeah, I said we didn't have QA at the very beginning. Now we have. we have security team at JetBrains that regularly monitors everything possible what we have. So like dependencies, some issues they do. We've performed pen testing of the application before the release. So we do all these like needed software practices too. But the idea, the passion to create the project that came from us from inside, and we worked first. We worked to create the application, and then we've settled with the all needed practices, best practices. Yeah, so to say. Oh, yeah, right.
My question is how you can make dog fooding effective together with a QA strategy. Like if you have next project like this,
Mhm.
what you would do different to do dog fooding effective in terms of QA planning?
I would say dogfooding and QA complement each other, at least, well, in our company. Of course, we have a great team of QAs in all products, and they prepare test plans, release checklists, and so on. They thoroughly testing all the features, all the commits that go into production, and so on. But there were a lot of complexity and a lot of different scenarios that are first discovered by our colleagues, and then they got to the release checklist or to unit tests or integration tests to be verified after that. Because our tools, like IntelliJ, is 20 years or more than 20 years old. It accumulated a lot of different features, config files, plugins, and so on. So to test that everything works together well, it is not possible to do manually, and by any QA team. So we rely also that many issues are discovered by the dog fooding, and it is really so. We always preview all the release builds of the Toolbox app first inside JetBrains, and we have a lot of feedback from the inside, and we fix everything before it goes public.
And we have 1 minute, so
Yeah,
probably.
I'm almost at the end. So the last question, yeah.
How many apps that you develop at Hackathon make it to production and are rolled out to end users? Percentage?
Full-fledged apps, probably not so many, but a lot of features they really do. So I don't have any statistics at hand, but definitely Toolbox app, U-Track mobile. There is Grazie is a spell checker, new generation spell checker in IntelliJ. It was also a hackathon project, but this is now a feature in IntelliJ. So let me quickly finish this. So the Toolbox app story, it all started with a hackathon. We continued to develop the application as a 20% project. We did a lot of dog fooding, and this all helped us to reach 1.5 million users today. And what's next? Next, we have Toolbox App 2.0, the first big major update. We've just started beta on Tuesday. If you like the app, go try the new version. And with that, thank you very much for attention and enjoy the evening.